It's 7 p.m. Kiev time. Hello, I'm QTVNickBro, and welcome to As the World Crumbles. I hope you're having a great day. This is yeah. Where do I even start? Welcome to the first episode of my new podcast. For people who already know me a little bit, you'll probably be like, "Wait, QTV, didn't you have a podcast before already?" Yeah, I had a podcast, two podcasts actually. But because of my laziness and I guess some other stuff, they never worked really. So I guess we'll try it this time. Third time's a charm. Anyway, in this podcast will be slightly different. In a way, I will not just interview people, but also I plan on just talk to them really like about really everything. And my guests are not bound to one topic. We can discuss several topics, and I have different guests who will discuss different things. So with that out of the way, I guess I will tell you what led to my today's guest. So I decided to start for the first episode with someone who I know pretty well. He is Ukrainian, just like me, albeit from the city of Lviv, that is in West Ukraine. Um, and yeah, he's known for a few things in some circles. Uh, he is a rapper. He is into he's really into a lot of things. Really, it's kind of hard for me to personally put one thing that he's really like into. Um, but I guess one thing that I can sort of claim, as close as I can get to that, probably be that he's a pretty famous in pro-Ukrainian circles Twitter user. Yeah, he commonly can be found in some pro-Ukrainian discussions on Twitter, and he's pretty active in them, which is one of the reasons why he piqued my interest when I was thinking about my first guest for my first episode. Um, I suppose with that out of the way, I want to greet today's guest, Kamepin UA. Say hi.
Hi, hello. Thanks for the introduction.
No problem. As you can see, both of us are a bit worried, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, first time. I guess, where it all begins usually is the usual question is can you tell us about yourself? What do you do? What do you do that I didn't mention?
I just didn't know where to start myself. I'm just a guy interested in a bunch of random stuff like maps, rockets actually, just a lot of related topics. Also interested in geopolitics a lot. I didn't learn about them.
Uh, oh, actually, yeah. I completely forgot about some of the stuff because, for those who are unaware, follow him on Twitter, and I occasionally see what Kingpin posts, and this checks out. um, he definitely posts a
I'm
lot about
still
stuff.
still working on getting to 1,000 followers.
Yeah, folks, let's get him to how much? 200,000 yeah, followers, yeah?
Just 1,000.
Oh, 1,000. Oh, yeah, let's get him to that point. Follow him there. So I guess let me start with follow that up, really, by saying, how did you get into mapping, which is somewhere where it's a you're active in mapping. I understand, right?
Yeah, a bit. In recent years, not as much, but still active. It just I actually made like the first video all the way in late 2013, I believe. Was it just no? It was just early 2014, February. Yes, it's like on a different old channel. Specifically, I had to archive the videos from there. But yeah, since then, I did have a period where I didn't watch it, but I ended up going back into it around 2018, I think. But after that, I only ended up making like a very low quality series on my laptop. Ended up creating a trailer for a series that was made on a on a proper laptop. But yeah, I didn't end up actually going with it. Though.
So you're a veteran in the mapping space.
Well, yes, but I not really in the same way because I actually started being active in the community in 2018, and before that, I just watched the videos and made some and didn't actually interact with the community itself because like I was yeah I was 10 back then.
And where did your like obsession with that map stuff and geopolitics in general came from?
I believe it's from just doing the. It's a classic thing of just reading maps at a young age. Like my grandpa had a bunch of like small solid books with a bunch of maps in them. Yeah,
Like
that is
postcards?
just what do you mean?
Like postcards. It's just like that.
No, it's just really small books which are
Ah.
atlases. Yeah, it's
Oh, like those Soviet ones.
yeah, exactly
Oh,
those.
I'm familiar with those.
Yeah, since then always was interested in maps to some extent.
Uh, I see. And uh, so you started with humble beginnings, and like how advanced like by now in that like content creation, for example, like how much have you advanced since then?
Well, I've not been putting enough work in actually advancing in my work quality map wise, but I'm always mostly an enthusiast. But I have learned to create some level of maps. Last things I made was like maybe a few years ago, making some flag maps. But as of recent, I've not been putting much time in map-related projects. I remember one of the last ones I've made was like a map of several election maps of Ukraine, which were made in a way similar to what the American ones are with presidential elections. Like if Ukraine used that stupid electoral system, which is terrible.
Yeah. Um, and as you mentioned, you're no longer into mapping as much as you used to. Why is that?
Oh, I guess it's mostly either time or maybe just not fixating on it as much. But yeah, it's also a bit of lack of time as you just grow up. Because the community itself does have an issue of people just growing out of it. Not fully done that, but I'm not as fixated on it.
Uh, okay, so as I can tell, this community attracts usually little children around ages of like 10, 12. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's sometimes an issue in Discord when two young people join communities because the minimum age is supposed to be 13 on this app.
Yeah, it's for a reason.
But yeah, yeah. This community does have some issues sometimes.
Yeah, and it can lead to sometimes people who are a bit immature as a result, uh, as I understand. Um, it,
Yeah, okay, yeah, they can end up being either manipulated or just becoming raiders and wasting their time on the internet doing incredibly dumb stuff.
yeah, and
But that's just every community, to be
I
honest.
mean, yeah, I suppose so. In fact, I think for our listeners, I'm gonna make a reveal because I myself was also briefly in the mapping community, and I can tell that honestly there are far worse communities out there. I'd say personally that it's pretty good community. Not perfect, but all right, more or less. Um, but it's not for everyone, and I know some of our listeners are not into this community exactly, and some of them might have a question of what makes mapping different from, let's say, just geography in general or cartography. What sets out? What makes it unique in a way? Let's put it that way.
Well, that depends on if you mean mapping as creating videos where countries talk with each other and invade each other, or just in general about making art that was map related.
And when did mapping as we know it begin?
Remember the first video someone coined as the origin was like around posted around 20 no, like late 2000s. Yeah, I just don't remember exactly which video that was. It was the horrendous low quality
Well, that's how
drawn
it was.
Europe with a bunch of countries invading each other.
And so I suppose the community isn't very famous. It's a pretty niche community. Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's very niche.
But it has
Guys,
grown.
seen yeah, it
Uh,
has grown. Like the English one, definitely. I've actually only spent any large amount of time in the English one because of, I guess I'm weird in a way, but yeah, never been into any others, even the Ukrainian one.
not even Ukrainian community. You were not there.
Yeah, I've always been in the English ones
Oh,
since like 2018.
oh, I see. And mapping in a way, as I mentioned earlier, it's also for everyone. And how do you think like mapping can be improved in some way um, to make it maybe more approachable to general audiences? Maybe it can be used in an
Well,
educational way, like for schools or uh, universities.
actually, not thought about the idea of making it videos to educate people. Yeah, it's mapping is such a small niche. To make it possible for others to view it is a difficult task. The only thing I could have made could like think of is some people do make some more compelling stories using mapping. It can be more interesting to older viewers, not because they are like or gruesome or anything, just because they're more interesting stories. They are more complex and not just something written down by a 13-year-old. But apart from that, I don't know if there's any way to make mapping more compelling to others.
I see. So yeah. So um, yeah. So who is your favorite mapping YouTuber or person in the space?
God, I don't even know anymore. There's been so many, and I don't think I've had a favorite for years.
Okay, I
Like
understand
this,
that you're not really there anymore.
I'm still there. I just can't say who's favorite. Maybe Korean. I did like his stories a lot. The Korean mapping specifically. But his stories are like massive, like 40-minute episodes. That can be difficult for people to get into just because of its length.
Oh wow, that's like for mapping. Usually that's pretty high production values. I suppose usually
Yeah,
not as good.
Yeah, lower quality mapping can usually have season-long like movies made after the season is done, and usually they go up to an hour maybe.
Wow,
So that
movies.
makes Koreans' work more impressive.
That's crazy. People actually like watch like um a map moving and like these country balls. I heard the country balls are an integral part of mapping. Is that right? Uh, are they?
Not usually. Like Korean mapping that specifically doesn't do it. He just has. It didn't even label the countries on the map that time. He simply made the map appealing to look at. But country balls are very spread. Well, a lot of people do use them, and they do make the map look more interesting. They make personifying the countries more easy because you can actually give them expressions. Like you can name like a few mappers who did this well, like cave mapping, like cheese waffles and wonder waffle. I can't say their stories are that it have quality, but they're still pretty good. They're definitely entertaining.
Ah, I see. So let's talk about something that was kind of related to mapping, but something that kind of came from it. Um, Actually, no, like something that mapping came from. Yeah, that's how it works. Um, so geopolitics. So, what is your favorite historical event? Because yeah, because geopolitics are, I guess, kind of history. I just ordered questions on paper and I
Um,
didn't manage to properly word them. Great
uh,
work, QTV. Great work. Sorry.
yeah, just never seen geopolitics as like just a fun thing, because because of this, I can't just pick a random geopolitical event that I like the most. Because Russia hasn't collapsed for a second time yet,
Not yet. Um,
and its fifth collapse didn't go well enough, so
yeah.
I can't pick that.
Um, so I suppose you have none, uh, no historical events.
I don't
Favorite.
really have a favorite one. Yeah,
I think
it's
burning
just
of Moscow in like 16 something. I remember it was.
oh yeah, that's pretty good. I can count.
Oh, okay. Actually, it's just that right there. And since both of us are from Ukraine, how has this is a question. It's more of a gripe, but people in the West usually like to ask me how has the war impacted me as a person, and this question is in good spirits. But I've been asked it so much time that um, to me it's kind of difficult to even answer because of like
Yeah, it's not that comfortable. The war has made me more cynical in a way, because laughing at the more technical things in perspective of non-Ukrainians.
I mean like
But for
Russians.
us, yeah, for us making fun of Russians in hilarious ways isn't really considered a good thing in the West.
Anyway, what next? This is a podcast. I have to obviously ask you: do you listen to any podcast, or did you listen to any podcasts before?
I've not listened to many podcasts before. I did listen to maybe a few random ones. It's like I'm not committed to listening to a single one. Just sometimes listen to random ones. Just to maybe I was like interested in what they were talking about usually. There was one which I specifically tried listening to that's like recent.
Which one?
It's like but it's because it's made by friends in the mapping community.
Oh, so there's a mapping podcast. Um,
Well, there is the Mapacast, which isn't really done by my
oh, I
friends,
heard of
just
that one.
done by yeah. Uh, Yeah, it's not been active for a while, and the podcast I meant to mention is like called Z Podcast for some reason. That's not a good name.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a podcast made by a few people, uh, more specifically Kai and Mixed MA. It's like a Dynamis project.
I don't
Uh,
know who any of those people are.
yeah. I can guess that. It's just a yeah. They are making like a small podcast project. I only had a proper one episode at the moment. I think it ran for like 2 hours. But yeah, that they had actually a funny part. Uh, in episode 0, where they were just testing stuff, one of the guys ended up just losing his ability to hear the other guy. He ended up screaming, "Kai!"
I can just imagine that. That is
And
hilarious.
then and then the episode 1, the reverse happened, but the guy mixed was recording, and he had to leave for a bit while the podcast was still going on, and he turned off hearing specifically on Discord, and because of that, he couldn't record anymore. So they kind of paused it until he returned. That was funny.
Um, yeah, it is hilarious. Thank you for sharing that. Um, anyway, since you like geopolitics, and since you like me are you from Ukraine? What was that grammar? Hold on. um, anyway, so what do you think of modern Ukrainian politics?
Well, modern Ukrainian politics have not put much enough thought into them at some points because I have not actually voted yet because at the time I was able to vote, the last president was elected. So,
Oh,
but yeah, it's a bit of weird to see like politics in other countries, but they care about the political position of parties. But like, oh, this one's left, oh, this one's right. But all we care about is like two things: how corrupt it is, and how pro-European or pro-Russian it is. And it feels like we're in a completely different spectrum because of it. Kind of weird because yeah.
yeah, that's the thing. I must have noticed this as well. Is that in Ukraine, don't really have politics on the ideological side, and if you do, they're usually parties that are run by the popular. Like, I went once with my dad on a like flea market in Kiev here, and there was the flag of the Anarchist Party of Ukraine, and who even knows about that party? This is just, I mean, anarchists aren't popular really anywhere, to be honest, as a mainstream thing, but it's still pretty interesting to um, I guess that's the magic of democracy. Parties that are even not really, I guess, popular, they can still exist.
Yeah.
Like, sure, they may not like win or gain anything like votes, but they can still exist, and some are pro-Russian, obviously. At least
Yeah,
they know.
it's kind of funny how like the more nationalist parties end up in this situation because on the spectrum I just mentioned, like we care about how corrupt parties is and how pro-European it is. All the like nationalist parties, like right sector, end up in the position of not being pro-European, not being pro-Russian, and just claiming they are not corrupt. But because they aren't pro-European, actually nobody votes for them.
Yeah, that's the thing,
Because
actually. Yeah,
yeah, kind of funny how that ended up in a
yeah,
seemingly popular event 2014 only to end up like I think it was one seat or something.
yeah.
Now they have nothing.
Svoboda has only one seat in the Honorada. It's the Parliament of Ukraine for any of our
Well,
listeners.
yeah, right sector never like held power and claimed to be not corrupt. But Swoboda was always very corrupt. So
Yep.
that's been funny.
And the Eurosceptic as well. Which
Yeah,
is pretty interesting.
Euroscepticism isn't the most popular thing. If you're Eurosceptic and this in Ukraine, if you're Eurosceptic, you're most likely pro-Russia,
Yeah.
and such people are. I don't want to say dying out. There are less of them significantly over the last
Yeah,
2
way
years.
less. Because they're in the
Thankfully.
basement. You won't get
Basement,
a
yeah.
joke to our listeners, because most of our listeners are not from Ukraine. In fact, no one is probably, except probably for you, because you'll probably watch this episode after it's come out. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about Twitter. Yeah. So most people know you from there. So I guess I will be very interested to hear what led you to Twitter.
Oh, but actually, initially it was just the mapping community.
Oh,
Yeah, that was the original idea of making the account just for fun. I think it was connected to Google Plus dying as well, because that's where the mapping community was like 2018, and then the entire platform died
Google
because Google
Plus,
said so.
core memory
Yeah,
unlocked. I had
yeah, the
an account.
Google Plus existed.
Yeah, that
But yeah,
was.
after its destruction, a lot of people like made Twitter accounts for the sake of it, and I think
Oh,
some mappers already had one by that point and actually got a little followers, but after the death of Google Plus, a lot of made accounts just for the sake of being on a new platform and trying it out. And I did too. And I don't remember initially why I made more followers outside of the mapping community before the war. I guess I just repost did I just repost memes or did I get into politics a little? I don't remember too much. I think before the war I somehow managed to get over 200 followers, and when the war started, I started tweeting about the war a lot to spread Russophobia because that's vital, the war effort. And yeah, that caused a follower boom of me because I'm a Ukrainian. People actually want to care about my opinion all of a sudden, and I think it boomed to like 500 followers before just going up and up very slowly, and now end up going up to 900 followers.
wow.
And yeah, it's,
So the war
yeah,
has boosted like your Twitter account in a way.
yeah, it was like a launch pad.
I see, because you're followed by some interesting people, like, for example, Turusophobic for you, you know, legend. um, you're also followed by the director of Who Killed Captain Alex. I'm too followed by him. He follows like everyone
Oh
who
yeah,
like
yeah.
follows him. That's actually crazy. Like, how does he like get like?
I believe that can be done through a bot to just follow anyone who follows you, or
Yeah, I guess that's just
sometimes,
yeah.
yeah, people sometimes use bots to ban everyone who follows a certain person. Because I don't know why to do that actually.
Well, I mean, I guess there's maybe some good reason for it. Hmm.
Yeah, it's if they radically want to get rid of their community somehow. Yes.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, that's also probably explains why you're followed, and me as well also followed by Matthew Van Dyke. Remember that guy?
Matthew one bike.
Van Dyke. Um,
Give me a sec.
he's like some kind
Uh,
of like journalist. He like apparently spent like some time in a Libyan jail, I think. Maybe mixing something up. Yeah, he
for
was.
some reason, can't remember him for some reason. It's
Yeah,
just because I'm followed by a lot of people or something. Could be that.
yeah, but he's like weird because like I don't think he follows both of us because he like cares. I think he's just like I think it's some bot, like that does it for him. I don't know why though. Like, why would he care about us, like even slightly, if he did that bot? Mystery.
Yeah. It's more notable people following me, I guess, are people like Spaghetti Kozak.
Who?
Spaghetti Kozak is a. I don't think he's a big YouTuber yet, but a relatively big YouTuber.
Well, I think he's that big because this is the first time I'm hearing of him. um,
It's pretty big. Well, he hasn't made videos in a while because, well, he made one recently, but before that, he didn't make any for a while because he went to the International Legion to help us.
Oh wait, you talk about oh wait, no, I thought you were talking about Kozak Gundi. He's this British guy who came to the Foreign Legion and he actually just recently returned to Ukraine, which is
Oh, that's probably not that guy because
yeah.
he had to return to Ukraine. He said he wants to, but I'm not sure if he will, like, actually go back to Ukraine.
I see.
Yeah, he did come as soon as possible, I believe.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that he returns actually. Anyway, back to our topic. Now I want to switch topics now slightly, to
Hmm?
focus on different interest of yours, space. So, as I know you're a space junkie.
Oh yeah.
I myself not really into space. I mean I do like some like spacecraft or whatever, but I guess you're more of a space guy than me. Um, and so I think this question you'll be able to tell me answer my questions. Well,
Yeah.
what else? So since again you like me are from both of us are from Ukraine, I guess the best question to begin with will be, what do you think of the Ukrainian space industry as a whole?
Um. God, there's so many things I could say about it, but it's I guess say just corrupt. Wish it wasn't so corrupt.
I suppose so as well.
But yes, in a way, it's because it does have wasted potential in parts, but it did inherit too many bad things from the Soviet Union, like specifically people who were used to it, and as such, because that corrupt to some extent. And the worst thing it had inherited from the Soviet Union, its mutual reliance with the Russian space industry,
Oh yeah.
and because this any yeah, cooperation basically stopped after 2014, mostly because well, no new contracts for rockets were made, and because launches stopped in 2017. And Russia didn't lose too much. I think they finally barely managed to get a new system to uh, control their Soyuz spacecraft, and they did lose the ability to launch a rocket called the Rocket. Yeah, that's just a dumb name. It's an
Yeah.
actual name though. But it did mean that Ukraine in turn lost the ability to launch all of its rockets, and mostly lost the ability to make them because it never made a fully Ukrainian rocket. Meanwhile, Russia, after 30 years, managed to make one fully Russian rocket.
Well, that might
Doesn't
happen.
sound, but they did manage it.
Yeah. Uh,
And
so so I suppose that our space right now industry is kind of fucked.
it was fucked since 2014 mostly. It's barely recovering now. I think there was one time that Yuzhmash, where the production is done, was bombed once, but we have not known anything about it. It didn't seem to change anything because the Cyclone 4M project is still slated to launch at the latest in early 2025, I believe. Yeah, they haven't changed it yet.
Actually, I heard there was like a scandal recently involving I forgot what's the name of the rocket. I think it's like some European rocket that had our engines. Like I think
Uh,
Yuzmash made some like stage for it.
oh yeah, I can say a lot about this actually.
Yeah, and they had
Y-
scandal, which led to our parts not being like in the final rocket. What can you say on
Yeah,
that?
yeah, that's a lot to say about this because well, apart from Ukraine making the final stage engine being the
Uh,
843, I believe,
yeah,
it did make some parts for the new like solid rocket engines for the Vega C rocket now. As
yeah.
does make engines for both Vega and Vega C, but made the new parts for the solid rocket boosters of Vega C. And Vega C on its first launches did fine, and those details did also fine on tests. And suddenly, those details failed on the second launch of Vega C, and Ukraine was blamed for some reason. And because of some contractual stuff which I don't even remember too much, Ukraine was incapable of challenging this. And it really wanted to. The I believe what was it? Jeez, the state-based. I forgot the name. SSAU, State Space Agency of Ukraine, also like made a statement about this. Basically, it is very much more likely that the Italians making the engine may have incorrectly installed the component, but
The
we are unable
Italians.
to find out about this. So
You mentioned
we
the
just
Italians, right?
yeah, they are the ones making much of the rocket. There's
Ah,
just a lot of components made in other countries in Europe, mostly ESA members. I think all of them are ESA members. It's just Ukraine who isn't. Uh, but yeah, it's a bit of a situation where Ukraine is blamed for a failure, and we don't really know why. Because now ESA is spending more money to replace the Ukrainian components, which seem to work fine, to replace them with European ones. And we can't tell why.
so we were screwed by them.
Yeah, it's
That sucks.
yeah, it does suck. We are unsure what actually happened after all,
Yeah, but
and we end up in the blame.
yeah. Speaking of ESA, when do you think Ukraine will become a member of the European Space European I guess probably European
Space
European Space
Agency,
Agency?
yes,
Yeah.
let's say correctly. Uh, well, uh, SSAU hasn't done enough work, I think, to warrant becoming a member early. And because of that, Ukraine will have to go through standard procedure to become an ESA member. The standard procedure is just becoming a part of the EU and then joining ESA, which depends on how early we join the EU, which is, it's gonna take a while, potentially. Which is a pretty big issue because Ukraine does have a great space industry, which would have been useful for ESA, but yeah, they can't really. They, they can't take advantage of it as much because we aren't ESA members, sadly.
So to join ESA, you need to be a member of the European Union.
Yeah, yeah, that's the case, I believe. I think maybe EFTA members can also join, but it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, and well, that's pretty unfortunate. So let's
Yeah,
talk about something more positive. What was your 5 minutes of fame moment in your online life? Maybe not online life, just life in general, maybe. Uh,
5 minutes of fame. Well, I don't even know if I sometimes have issues remembering such events. I think one I could say is like my most liked tweets, but one of them is a reply about a funny Duolingo screenshot of some of a guy replying to a funny question, and up having like I don't know 15,000 likes somehow. The other one was just me posting a stolen meme about a picture of Bandera Burger. It was like over 1,000 likes.
What if I tell you that I actually was like near it, like the place? um, like I like walk past behind it. Like it's I never actually like eaten there. I just yeah, passed by it. Yeah, yeah, pretty surreal to see it though. I would like took a picture and send it to like my friends. They're
Oh
like,
yeah,
"Oh,
yeah,
it's the place."
yeah. I do live there. You could actually visit it once.
Yeah, I mean, I could eat there, but
Yeah, the only thing like that I did I was actually buy a kebab from a kebab hub, which do you remember? It's like it made me live a little bit. Not sure if they had all of the places closed, but they had this one open, which where I just bought a kebab. Do you remember that like meme? Because they have a similar logo to Pornhub, which is the meme.
I saw one, but it was not a kebab. It was, I think, a beer hub. I think it was called something. Wait, no,
Oh,
maybe something else. I don't remember actually. Oh, yeah, maybe it was kebab hub. I don't remember. I don't think I remember. But
franchise expands.
yeah, sandwiches that will make you come. It's a horrible joke. How will the YouTube allow this? Who am I kidding? I don't even have monetization yet. Anyway,
Yeah.
Since you're a mapper, well, you have probably more stuff than that. You do have more stuff than that. What was I saying? But what project do you have, or projects, which you regret doing? Like you wish you never done them.
Things I've not done that I regret doing.
No, things that
Oh,
you have done but you regret doing.
oh, uh, I don't even know. Guess well, I'm not done enough to regret actually. I think because I've actually managed to avoid practically all drama in the community for the most part,
Lucky you.
and so I can't say that I did something that I regret.
Lucky you,
Because
I'm
for
saying, yeah.
that, yeah, like only
Um,
things I've done aren't really just bad. They just weren't maybe useful or didn't go anywhere. But I can't say they were
like
like
that, I meant.
strapped so bad I didn't want to do them in the first place.
Well,
Like even those videos I've made, like they're low quality. Well, what about it? I don't want to say I didn't want to make them in the first place. Still, I guess taught me something. I didn't even say that about like the last video posted on my YouTube channel, which is cutting a guy's several 8 specifically Hoi 4 videos into not a weird compilation. It's just that he switched from a country to a random country, and I randomized that between all of his videos, and I think I spent like 2 days cutting all of that up, and end up with like a 2-hour video. This guy being in complete pain. Because he is like in complete pain for half the video. And I didn't regret doing it because like it was hard to an extent, but it did teach me a lot in video making after all.
oh, video making. I see. Why am I said that like weird? Anyway, on a different note, who has inspired you? Aside from the like boring answer, which is parents. um,
Inspired to me to make my mapping
no,
videos,
no,
I
not
guess.
mapping. No, I mean in general, inspired you. I think I thought too much about mapping. I should talk
Oh
less
yeah,
about it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So mapping, not really just mapping guy, but yeah. I can't say I've been specifically inspired by any man, actually. It's like the issue.
Man, not
Maybe
even
it's
woman.
just me knowing too much and like knowing that people are flawed, that I don't want to idolize anyone.
Oh, that's pretty good wisdom, as they say. Because,
Could be that. It could be me just not remembering though.
especially now, if someone, you may like someone, but then you find out that they're like a horrible person and that you shouldn't have,
Yeah,
really regret. This comes out into the question of regretting.
yeah,
Full
that
circle.
happens awfully often on the internet.
Yeah. Especially on Twitter. This is the thing. Twitter, yesterday friend, tomorrow enemy. Actually, no. That's not how it works. Whatever. Twitter yeah, it's something. That's for sure. It's actually kind of crazy that you and many other people I know on Twitter, they haven't really been involved in drama on Twitter that much. Like I know like a few, but not that much.
Yeah.
Thank
I
God.
could say I've managed to get into some crap with Russians, but they just blocked them really.
Yeah. Who cares?
You shouldn't take. Yeah, you shouldn't care about their opinions.
Yeah. Okay, then what do you like in general?
General, it's just maybe spending the time. I guess I don't even tell. Maybe just watching YouTube videos or random stuff I fixate on at the moment. Sometimes watching specific shows I like. Often playing specific games. The it depends on the time, I guess.
And what do you
Oh
dislike?
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
oh yeah. I was thinking. I do like sometimes making some small projects.
Like
Uh,
which?
Typically only stuff like I fixate on. Like at the time I said I made a bunch of maps of electoral maps of Ukraine, or that 2 hour video, or like what else did I make? Did make a server that categorizes mapping competitions. When they were a thing. There's like 3 active ones now.
Oh,
In the past there was like 10 at the time.
it's dying.
Yeah, there were a lot in the past.
I see. And what do you dislike?
My brain automatically shows up a map of Russia in my head. I can't think of anything else.
That's obvious. um, I see.
I guess I can think of just things irritating me because it's sometimes difficult to focus for me. So there's a bunch of things, which specifically when I have to do like two things at once and I have to juggle them. I really don't like that for some reason.
Huh, I see. And what are your plans for the future, in general?
Well, plans. Well, I guess just at the moment. It's difficult to plan because of the war, but it's becoming less and less difficult. And I guess for now it's just finishing university,
Your
and
university,
then
as I know. Um,
yeah, currently like finishing bachelor's, and then I guess I'm still working on what kind of job I'm going to get. Potentially, maybe even like Ukrainian localization. Specifically, that's another interest I have. And some little projects of localization. One of them was like a small platformer game.
oh, nice.
Yeah, called The Colorful Creature. Yeah, it's. I wish its localization actually worked because a lot of its fonts don't actually like support Cyrillic,
Oh,
and
that
he only
sucks.
added. Yeah, the dude did add some fonts that do work. So I had to update localization, and I realized that Maybe it's actually bad when the text is 2 times larger than the button it is on. And and I don't have an option to like make the text smaller. I actually have to like change the board either to something smaller or something just shortened that keeps the context. That's one of the most important things about localization, making sure that you probably change something to your language, but don't make it like dysfunctional.
Yeah.
While skipping all the context, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, that's the thing about localization, I guess, in a way. Um, it's very important because I saw some Ukrainian translation of a comic, and they referenced like Chernobyevka and stuff for no reason at all. That's so cringe.
Oh,
Have you
oh
seen it?
yes, yeah. I think I saw it like as post on Twitter, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a bit funny. Sometimes you just have to like translate random references which won't be noticed
Yeah.
by anyone in your country, and you might think of something good, or you might think of this.
Yeah, Chernobyevka. Well, um, yeah. Now, what can you tell us more about, you as a person, maybe? Uh, I know you're like, uh, I know something about yourself.
I don't
Like,
know what to like maybe say. I don't really want to say anything about history because in recent few years I've not read actually enough about our history.
same.
The issue mostly lies in like it's just actually depressing to read every time.
Yeah, true.
It
Um,
becomes hard to like get into it and you want to do something else.
Actually, you mentioned you're localizing a platformer. What games do you play?
I usually platformers sometimes can do them, but it's mostly like actually map games because can map
Oh,
enthusiast.
like Hearts of Iron
So
4? Do you play that game?
yeah. Usually stuff like mostly just Paradox games, yeah.
And the mods for them, like Kaiserreich. Do you know? Play those?
Well, actually not played enough Kaiserreich because only recently got a proper laptop that can actually handle it. Since then, I've just not had the time to try Kaiserreich out, and
Yeah, this is the common
they
pain.
are they are working on a Ukraine rework right now, and it's close to finishing.
Oh
I should
yeah,
try
I know
that
that.
out when it happens.
Yeah, and I remember actually you and me were working on a mod for Hearthstone 4 that was revolved around Ukraine. This was called Treaty Did Not Burn.
Oh yeah, you were working on that too. I forgot actually.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, I'm not
Um,
put enough effort beyond trying to make a bunch of flags.
I didn't do much either. I think I even did
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, it's just time issues mostly, but
Yeah, but
yeah,
that
sadly
can't.
the mod ended up dying.
Yeah, I just remembered something. There's this mod that I was on Discord server of. It was called Calm Before the Storm, and their
Yeah.
acronym was CBT.
Oh my god, I forgot.
And the server
Right.
admins, they banned anyone from joking about. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Oh
Yeah, that's
yeah,
hilarious.
and they like put it
I
as like
think,
acronym. They like used the acronym very frequently. CBT, CBT.
yeah, I should have thought of better acronym.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's all I needed on this show for now. Left because I think people who are listening to this are probably already sleeping. If you're sleeping, have a good sleep. This probably
Okay.
help them. This is probably the best cure against insomnia. You turn this on instead of ASMR and you just sleep like a minute in.
Yeah. I don't. I never did that because I don't want to like keep my device on while I go sleep or something. But
I
it's
don't watch
funny
anything like
things happen.
that before sleeping. I mean, I do watch ASMR, but not when I sleep. But yeah,
I've
I'm
not
just
actually watched it.
never.
Just only watched podcasts to like specifically listen to something, or maybe listen to something in the background while I play.
Oh,
Like never as some kind of ASMR replacement or anything.
I see. Because I'm obviously joking about at the expense of myself
Yeah,
because
well, yeah.
this is the third time. It's kind of ridiculous, really, because the first time was a podcast I made in Minecraft. Yeah, Minecraft. Where I was like in a studio and it was my friend Wills, who's also the guest and also like the producer. He like
Huh?
did essentially everything. I was just stood there, uploaded the video, and made a thumbnail. That's all I did. And I mean, it wasn't like bad. It was just actually all right, but it was just I guess boring. And I realized that it would take more effort. And at that point, I just made like a podcast on my own. It was the second attempt, the QTVNickBro show, which was. I remember I interviewed my friend. What's her name? Uh, I can't remember. Dementia.
You can understand. I have the same thing
I actually have.
with memory, just not actual with
Yeah,
dementia, but
yeah,
yeah.
bad memory as well. But yeah, and yeah, it actually also was alright. But I guess it was just boring to me, and I also was lazy. I'm a really lazy person, really. So it went nowhere. And now it's third time, but I will be surprised if again the same thing will happen. One episode, and then what podcast? What are you talking about? But I'll try to be consistent. I even have the problem with the past shows was also as well that I couldn't really find guests. But now I have a list of guests here on myself on my desk who I really want to interview.
Oh,
13. I plan on making 13 episodes of the show for now.
oh, so
Maybe.
you're glad you did
Yeah.
manage to actually like find 12 guests by now, or
Well,
just
no. Of them, not counting you, I currently have 3 people on my radar. I won't spoil them.
oh, sorry.
Yeah, but that's very famous. In a way, one of them I already mentioned actually, but some most of these people aren't very famous. Some of them are like maybe, but I just know them. I just kind of know them on online on Discord really. But
Maybe kind of like me.
I mean, obviously, I'm not getting some AAA guys here.
Yeah.
It'd be fun though. Which is why I'm kind of trying to aim for people who are kind of like niche, but still not worth enough who talk about. Because if I talk to like some random Joe from the street, I think anyone would really care. No one cares anyway, but still.
Yeah.
And I do have at least 2 guests here who might be considered kind of high, I guess. But we'll see how it works. Like, again, this is really my third time working on this, so anything can go, anything will work. In fact, I'm not really sure that this episode is really that. Well, I'm not saying it's like bad, but it's my first episode.
No,
You can tell.
it's alright. It have some good questions, and
Yeah, for a first try, I guess it's not that bad. And another thing is, I planned for this episode to be about 30 minutes long. It's now been an hour.
yeah, we did manage to get an hour here.
You know what? I'll now make it an hour long show, I guess. Yeah, and uh, it will, it may not be perfect, may not be, the best, but I try my best, and it will be better over time. I hope.
Yeah.
Of course it will be. No, it will not. It will be worse now. Next episode I will be with a $2 mic, which will sound like this. You know. Yeah. See, even jokes are horrible.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm joking. Again, this is the thing. I like to joke about that. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah. It's like my. It's like how I call. Like when you call someone and you try to like end the call, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, see ya, bye, yeah, okay, yeah, oh, okay, yeah, see ya, yeah, okay, good, yeah.
Oh
bye,
yeah, I can really understand. That's always the hardest part.
This is the. This is the thing. Same here, but But from you, that is all. Thank you for coming to my show. Yeah,
Thank you for hosting me here.
no problem. Now, yeah, again, you can follow Kamepin on your Twitter. Yeah, uh, you don't have any
Yeah, you
other
can
social
maybe
media.
and subscribe to me on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll probably put in the description of this video uh, the links to his socials, where you can find him and follow him for more stuff about him. Yeah. Anyway, from Camping, that is all. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Now I want to turn my attention to a special segment, kind of in a way, on my show. We call it Extra Dish, which is a segment where I look at something that has nothing to do with the guest at all. So today I want to discuss I think you may have a question you may have to me regarding this podcast, and that is, why did you name your podcast As the World Crumbles? Um, my true answer is because I needed a cool sounding name. I really couldn't think of anything better, and I want to make an epic sounding name. So I guess we'll go with that. Really, maybe I could like turn it to something. We'll see how it will work. And also I actually designed the logo for this show in Microsoft Word, if you can tell. Anyway, in this section at the end of every episode, which will be every episode at the end, there will be different various topics I will discuss and different other stuff. Heck, may even have some. Um, Actually, no, I won't spoil it for now, but you'll see later. But anyway, from me, QTVNickBro, this was all for this episode of As the World Crumbles. Thank you for tuning in and listening till the end. I'll see you later. Goodbye.